Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 2, Text 22. Vāsāṁsi jīrṇāni yathā vihāya navāni gṛhṇāti naro parāṇi tathā śarīrāṇi vihāya jīrṇāni anyāni saṁyāti navāni dehī. This is a beautiful metaphor that Krishna gives for us to understand two things. One is how the body is temporary and Atma is permanent. And number two is the changes. We shouldn't be concerned and worried about these changes that's happening. For us to further easily understand this, now that the weather is cold and we wear warm clothes to go out or stay at home or any places, we try to cover up ourselves with nice, warm, soft clothes. Well, the weather is still, it's not going to be like this forever. Another few more months that's going to come. It's going to get changed and it's going to get hotter. And just because I spent a lot of money in getting this warm winter clothes, expensive branded jackets, I'm not going to be wearing these things during winter. I'm going to change my style of clothing. Likewise, again, we change when it's back to summer and winter. The changing of clothes is an example that's been given here by Krishna, stating that you should be rather happy, Arjuna. Arjuna was thinking, why? Here's my grandfather, Bhishma, my guru, Drona, they're all going to be killed. Why should I be happy? I should be lamenting. Well, if you have a worn out cloth, if someone is having a worn out cloth, as you being a compassionate person, don't you offer that person a new cloth so that he can change the old one, have a new cloth? Arjuna feels, of course. Well, that's what is happening here. The body is like a cloth. And when the cloth becomes worn out, useless, old, the Atma is going to change this old body by taking up a new, youthful, young, nice body. Will you be happy about it, or you have to be worried about it? Every single person, when the body becomes old, they have to change like how they change their dress every day. And the transformation of this Atma, in other words, in our case, we are the one who changes the dress, daytime dress and nighttime dress, and likewise the next day daytime dress and nighttime dress. We are the one who changes. So someone have to change the dress. In our case, it's us. When the time comes, which is called death, the body, which is a dress, has to be changed. Well, that transformation of changing soul from the existing body to a newer body is done by Paramatma, based on one's deeds, activities, and the actions that they performed in the current life and in previous lives. So the question is, how does Paramatma knows what we have done so He can offer us body accordingly. Of course, Paramatma, who is Super Soul, is present in everyone's heart. So everyone have their individual soul and also Paramatma within their heart. The Super Soul watches each and every activities and take account of it. And when the right times comes, the Super Soul rewards that Jivatma, the soul, back with whatever he needs to get. Therefore, it is important in the practice of bhakti, in the practice of yoga, one has to turn towards that Paramatma. A beautiful example has been given that in a tree branch, two birds are sitting along. And there's one bird which is very busy eating the fruits in the tree, whereas the other bird is simply watching this bird which is eating, simply witnessing the activities of the other bird which is eating. As the time passes, the bird which is eating is so much fully engrossed, day by day it's becoming weaker and weaker, whereas the other bird does not change, rather is just observing the eating bird. The interesting thing to note here is the bird which is eating is becoming weaker, and the bird which is not eating, watching, remains the same, not disturbed. This example has been given by the Upanishads. The bird that is eating and becoming weaker are the Jivatma, the living entity. It's eating, is performing an action, and also is going through his karma, and that's why it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And the other bird which is watching is Paramatma, is just watching and not taking account of this other bird's activities. So, all that has to be done in this case is that bird which is becoming weaker has to pause for a moment and simply turn around and see the other bird which is next to it, the Paramatma. And this is the very first step in the process of bhakti, devotion, or yoga. We have to turn ourselves not away from God, rather we have to turn towards Krishna. If we can do that as a very first step, and Krishna helps us in many ways to further get closer to Him. Therefore, one should not be really worried about change of dress. Likewise, one should not be worried when the body is changed to a newer body. Either case, one should not be concerned, rather be happy about it. As they are getting a newer garments, likewise, a person is getting a youthful, young body. Vāsāṁsi jīrṇāni yathā vihāya navāni gṛhṇāti naro parāṇi tathā śarīrāṇi vihāya jīrṇāni anyāni saṁyāti navāni dehī.